case.
Quiet in the courtroom, please.
Shit. Sorry.
Oh, District Court of San Andreas will now come to order. The Honorable Judge Philip Graves presiding in the matter of Harry Dev versus Amber Nolans. Court is in session. You may be seated.
I know, right? Cameras in the courtroom.
Hi. Good afternoon, everybody. I appreciate everybody coming out to see this carrying out of justice in our community. It's a big part of civilization, and glad to see we have such a big turnout. All right, court in session. Would the plaintiff like to make his opening remarks?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Today, I'm here representing Mr. Dev, my client here, and I believe that he was assaulted and battered by this individual over here. We hope today that the evidence we have can go ahead and get this man the decision he deserves, get him what he needs. We didn't prepare any elaborate opening remarks. We're not trying to create a very theatrical courtroom here. So with that, that's all we have.
All right. Does the defense have any statements?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
I'm thinking about calling that PD officer to the stand.
I'm here to prove on my side of the case that the plaintiff was actually wrongful in their actions and that my actions against his was in self-defense on this evening. And that's all that's all I have to say, Your Honor.
All right.
Sorry about that, my Tourette's.
Excuse me. All right. Plaintiff, do you what are we looking at here? Do you have any evidence, any witnesses, anything you'd like to call?
Yeah, so we have 3 witnesses that we're going to be wishing to call today, as well as body cam.
Okay.
I think the best course of action is going to be to introduce the body cam evidence first, and then use that in the questioning of the witnesses that I have.
All right, so we can go ahead and play that body cam then.
All right. Do you mind if I approach, Your Honor?
Go ahead.
God damn these damn Tourette's, man. Hello.
All right. All right, which chat do I need to go to?
You're gonna go live, Cameron? Okay, what are you gonna be playing?
Yeah, let's see, hang on.
Can we see the evidence too? You can technically rewind back to 2:30 minus 2:30:47, and that's where it starts. You can rewind back there and watch it there at that point. It's Las Lagunas Boulevard, yeah. All the feet. Oh my god, we could hear all the feet stomping.
Logan.
Maybe talk to admins about adding a channel for evidence to be played during court. Well, the thing is since this is live, I don't have it clipped or anything for this particular moment, but yeah, having a gallery channel or even like a place for people to see, or probably announce for people to see, like when I'm not in this position anymore, when I'm actually doing my judge duties again, I can probably direct people to watch it at a certain place. If it's live
Oh, I
eyes,
thought
or
the
if it's a
trooper
clip.
was searching him. I'm sorry. I... Yeah, he's still out there. Yeah. I was just trying to get back in there because I know I'm gonna get called as a witness.
Sorry, sir.
You're good.
We lost a couple of subscribers. That's okay.
I'm sorry. Did I make you stand up? I apologize.
Yeah, you're good.
Watching the recorders. Court case.
Hey, can you go put him in the car?
Nice, people know what's being shown instead of trying to explain it. True. -2 subs, I know. If you guys haven't already, be sure to leave a like and don't forget to subscribe as well. I'd really appreciate that. A place for people to see. Oh, can hear myself. Jesus Christ.
All right, I've seen just about enough of that. All right, I'll let you go ahead and call your first witness.
All right, the first witness I would like to call to stand will be my client, Mr. Dev.
Mr.
I
Dev,
want to be
please
a
take a
witness.
stand
I
right here
want
to
to
the
be a
judge's
witness.
left, and I'll swear you in.
Shh.
Mr. Dev, if you can look at me.
Yes,
Do you,
sir.
do you
First
swear
one.
that the testimony you are about to provide shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Dev, how are you doing today?
Not too good, to be honest, sir.
Not too
You know,
good.
I feel violated of my rights. I feel, I just feel like I've been disjustice in this justice system.
All right, sir. Well, I think
Got
we're all
31
here.
subs.
with best
Nice.
interests of justice in mind, and we're gonna try to get you feeling like you got the treatment you deserve and protected those rights. So, my first question for you, Mr. Dev, do you have any medical conditions that you are fine with disclosing to us?
Yes, I do, sir.
And what would those be?
So, when I was really little, I was diagnosed with this rare condition where I age incredibly fast compared to a regular human being. So, for example, 3 days ago for you guys, I was a 22-year-old. But in those 2 days to 3 days, I am now in my 50s.
Okay. And do you have any allergies, Mr. Dev?
So, I wouldn't really say this is another allergy, but it's another condition. I have this thing where shit, fuck. Yeah, I don't think I have to explain it, but
Tourette's, then, Mr. Dev, correct?
yes, sure.
Okay. So, Mr. Dev, when we look back through the body cam of the incident, you can be seen kicking in front of the Miss Nolan's cart.
Go sit down.
Can you tell us what you were kicking at there?
Kicking a massive bee, sir.
A bee. Okay. And do you have a phobia or any kind of allergy, anything like that has to involved with those kind of insects?
I'm traumatized by bees, sir. So my mother, she was actually allergic to bees, and that's the reason she died.
Okay. Okay. And did you intentionally mean to tap her car when you kicked that bee?
No, sir. My plan was to eliminate the bee from her vehicle. That way, it wouldn't cause any damage to her vehicle. And I may have accidentally dented the vehicle, but I was willing to pay for the expenses.
Okay. And when Miss Nolan's got out of her car, did you say anything to her?
So, in my thoughts, I believed I was saying things, but due to my condition, I believe it probably didn't translate towards her.
Okay. And as seen in the body cam footage of that, you were struck 2 times, is that correct?
I was struck 3 times, sir.
3 times. Okay. And the entire time, did you attempt to fight her back in any way, shape, or form?
Negative, sir.
No, not at all.
No, I'm not gonna
After
lose
you,
because
were
I have
taken from that
testimony I want to say
scene, sir,
myself.
Did you get any kind of medical treatment?
Sir, I passed out, sir, and we waited 10 minutes for officers to arrive on scene. About 8 minutes through, I decided, well, by the time they get here, I'll probably have a seizure or something due to my head buzzing. So I went to start walking away, and then she told me not to go because the cops were on the way. And so I was like, you know what? Yeah, because if I do pass out, they need to be a witness. So I
Okay.
sat down on the sidewalk, and when they arrived, I ended up passing out and having a seizure, sir.
Okay. And after the police arrived, was EMS called? Was anything done to help treat you?
EMS was not available from my knowledge because he had to take me to the hospital, sir.
Okay.
Hospital-
And
no.
the doctor there, did he give you any kind of diagnosis or anything like that?
So this hurts me because I already have a suffering condition where I'm aging rapidly fast, but he told me that I suffered severe head trauma and it possibly could have cut my lifespan from 5 to 10 years.
Okay. All right. Mr. Dev, have you ever come across Miss Nolans before?
My younger self has in the past, but
Okay.
you know that was 30 years ago for me.
Okay. And how would you say your interactions and things like that were with her then? Was she aggressive in any form back then?
She seemed pretty friendly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in your eyes, Mr. Dev, you were just helping a friend out by killing a large insect that you were afraid could harm her, yourself, or her vehicle.
I was looking out for the vehicle as a past government worker, sir.
Okay. All right. All right, Mr. Dev. Thank you. That's all the questions I have for him. Oh, Mr. Dev, actually, one more thing while I think about it. When it was LSPD that arrived first, correct?
Correct, sir.
So when LSPD arrived, did they take Miss Nolans into custody?
She was not cuffed, sir.
She was not cuffed. Okay.
And I was cuffed upon their arrival, sir, while I was in the ground, bleeding, suffering from head
Okay.
trauma.
So you were detained then, correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
And did LSPD ask you any questions or anything like that?
Questions were not asked until I got out of the hospital, and I essentially said that I wanted to give a statement before we arrived.
Okay. So they asked questions then after you went to the hospital?
Yes, sir.
Were you still detained at that time?
Yes, sir. I was still in cuffs in the back of the cruiser, sir.
Okay. And were you
still
ever
having bruises, sir?
were you ever read your Miranda rights?
Negative, sir. I read I told them my statement 3 times, and not once was I read my Miranda rights during those 3 times, sir.
Okay. All right, Mr. Dev. I thank you for your time. That's all the questions I have for him, Your Honor.
All right. Defense, would you like to cross-examine?
Not this time, Your Honor, but Your Honor, would it be okay if I actually gave a perspective from my point of view that actually is in reference to what the witness has stated so far?
All right. Are you going to cross-examine after?
I do not plan to ask him any questions.
All right. Witness, you're dismissed.
My fault, bro.
You
May,
may approach Ms. Nellens.
thank you.
Brings up the fact that she got objections.
So, in regards to what the witness has stated so far, there's a few things that I actually wrote down as he was answering Mr. King's questions. So, in terms of the medical history, with the incident that occurred, they have no relevance in terms of it because he states that I've met him before in the past, but I never recognized him in this point in time. And the fact is that his medical history I had no knowledge of. So even if even with what he's claiming that I assaulted him, there's no relevance to the fact that I didn't know that he had Tourette's. I had no idea he had an aging issue whatsoever, even before when I met him. Another point that I'd like to point out as well is the statement about a bee on the vehicle. Now, I'm sitting in my car at this point in time. I'm parked on Las Lagunas Boulevard, and I'm just sitting in my car after I get off the phone with the chief. And if there was a bee on the car, number one, it would not be any harm to me because I'm sitting in there. I never got out. I did get out at a point in time, but not during when the bee was existing until it was quote unquote smashed by the plaintiff. And two, if the plaintiff is actually scared of bees or has a medical condition when being stung by bees, why would he approach the vehicle that has the bee on the car? That's what I want the court to think about at this point in time. And the other point to make about willing to pay for the damages, there was at no point in time that the plaintiff actually claimed or even said that he would like to pay for my damages. He continuously kicked my car, and when I tried to speak to him,
Objection, Your Honor. That's false. Mr.
That-
Mr. Dev struck the
Overruled.
vehicle once.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, and
Is that not in the body cam?
as I mean, whether or not that was stated at the officers, I mean, I was never told that at all at that point in time. So those are the points that I'd like to make at this time. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right. Plaintiff, you said you have more witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor. We'd like to call Ms. Nolens to the stand.
Ms. Dollins, if you'll take a seat to the judge's left, I'll swear you in. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Nolens, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing just fine.
Just fine. Glad to hear that. So I only have a few questions for you, Ms. Nolens.
Mhm.
As seen in the video evidence that we have, it appears that Mr. Dev kicked the front of your car once and then kind of just stood there for a minute, correct? You got out of the vehicle
Correct.
and okay.
Are you
Go ahead,
asking?
I'm sorry.
Are you asking more than one question?
I'm just asking if that's
So, yes, I did get out of my car, if that's what you're asking.
okay. And after you got out of the vehicle, Mr. Dev kind of walked over towards you and, was struggling to talk. Nothing was coming out of his mouth. That's correct.
I would not consider it struggling, but he did not speak.
Okay. Okay. So he didn't
When
say anything.
When I addressed him, he did not respond.
Okay. And after you attempted to address him, I believe it was 2-3 times there.
Correct.
You then struck him. How many times did you strike him?
I would say roughly 2 to 3 times I struck him.
Okay. And what was your reasoning behind striking Mr. Dev?
So let me, if you don't mind, let me back up a little bit.
Yeah.
So when I'm parked at Las Lagunas Boulevard. I see him in front of my car, and whether there's a bee or not, that's not relevant to me with what I'm explaining. But I see him kick the car. I actually see him kick it more than once. It was not just once. I think it was 2 times, 3 times, as much as I punched him in the face. So then I get out of my car, which is correct, which I will admit is not in the best of judgment. But at this point in time, he's actually squaring up with the car and then squaring up to me. Now, whether or not this actually is applied, I think that in terms of the way that, I mean, the way he's dressed right now, I mean, I thought that in my mind was a local, I thought, because when I addressed him multiple times, I got no response. And typically, I mean, if anybody, I'm sure Your Honor has also experience with locals. When they square up, sometimes they'll continuously square up to you, and they'll eventually punch you, or you get to them first, and they will do that. And I mean, really, my whole thing is that he damaged my vehicle, and all I was doing was protecting my property, and I was just protecting myself.
Now, Miss Nolan's protecting yourself and protecting your property, in my eyes, as well as the laws, I believe you're supposed to attempt to separate yourself from the individual, if I'm not mistaken. Because were you in any imminent bodily harm sitting inside of your vehicle?
No, not sitting inside my vehicle.
Okay. And you, of your own free will, chose to get out of the vehicle, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, when the LSPD arrived, you were not taken into custody at any time, is that correct?
That is correct. I was detained, but I was not handcuffed or taken in. I was eventually taken to Vinewood PD.
Okay. And so they detained you but did not cuff you, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And while you were detained, did the LSPD ask you any questions or any sort of, any questions, I'll just say?
Correct.
Okay. And did they read you your Miranda rights?
Correct. They actually read them before we went to the station.
Okay. And had they asked did they read your Miranda rights before they asked you questions on scene?
Yes.
Negative,
Okay.
sir. It's they moved their station as well.
All right. And then I only have a few more questions for you, Miss Nolans. I'll try to wrap this up. You say that you didn't recognize Mr. Dev because of his appearance and the way he was dressed. Now that you know this is Mr. Dev, have you ever seen him in your past?
From what he claims, it was a younger version of himself, but I've never seen him like this. No.
Okay.
This was
I believe in the past he had the pink hair.
Yeah.
and was a
If
youth
if it's the same person, then yes.
It is.
Okay. It's just he looks like a completely different person to me. So
Correct.
I thought that
Okay.
I met him for the first time at that point. So
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I don't believe I have any further questions for you, Miss Nolans. I appreciate your time.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Vance, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Your Honor, we would just like to
I said
cross-reference
defense,
her.
not plaintiff.
I apologize, Your Honor.
At this point in time, Your Honor, no.
All right, plaintiff, you had something else you want to add?
I would just like to cross-reference her testimony with the body cam footage that I showed you previously. In the body cam footage, you can see that Mr. Dev only struck the vehicle once, and I would just like to correct the record on that.
Okay. The video has been cross-referenced multiple times. I've got a pretty good understanding of what went on in the video.
All right.
I don't feel when you sit here and beat a dead horse.
All right. You got anything else?
So honestly and truthfully, after reviewing this left and right and watching the body cam, hearing the testimonies, I'm gonna go ahead and give a ruling on this because I don't feel we need to take up any more people's time. At the end of the day, the cases that we do here, it's not me trying to figure out what I do in that situation. It's not me trying to figure out what you do in that situation or you. As a Vietnam vet, I'm gonna handle that a little differently than Miss Nolans would back, being a female and her and her state. Now, that being said, I believe it is reasonable for Miss Nullins to defend herself in that situation. She has an individual that has approached her vehicle, struck her vehicle, and then gets
Yes.
out and approaches her in a lowered fighting stance and follows her around her vehicle. Miss Nullins did nothing but defend herself.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
On those grounds, case is going to be dismissed. There's no case here.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Corruption.
Yeah.
It's fucking corrupt.
It's a corrupt.
Hey,
This is bullshit.
This is corrupt.
Hold your tongue or I'll hold you in contempt.
Harry Dev.
Fuck this court.
Freedom of speech.
Hold your
Corrupt.
tongue. Not in my courtroom, it ain't.
I
Hold
knew
your
you
tongue.
got it, Amber.
Corrupt.
I'm not cursing.
Guys, be quiet.
You're not the law.
Excuse me?
Look at that corruption. Saw that? Excuse me.
Mr. Dev, I recommend you hold your tongue and exit my courtroom.
I'm not. What?
Time to go, gentlemen.
What up?
Time to go.
Hey, Mr. Franks, I have a question.
It's going to conclude this
Okay,
session.
what can I do for you?
We're going to walk you to the exits.
Here, we can come speak out
And-
here. So we
yeah,
can,
there's
yeah,
there's
we're a
not
little bit
six-
better.
Fox, you hang back.
Yeah, you're good.